What's up? So I want to let you guys know, man, when you put out a video on YouTube, you're open to review and criticism and comments. So this isn't trolling, this is a fucking review. I got a headache, man. So I'm watching a lot of videos lately, and there's this guy, Jay Williams. Did a lot of prison time, or so he says. Got a lot of stories. The stories are entertaining. Until I heard he got locked up in Philly. He told a story about somebody, 4 or 5 of his boys, saying, hey, we need one more soup, or, we don't got enough to make a chi and hook up. And they made a bunch of food. They put it out on the table. Guy came up and asked for some of the food. They said no. Guy spits in it. They fight. They scramble. They're stepping on the food. They beat the guy up. His blood's all in the food. And then the guy scoops the food up into a bowl and eats it. There's a problem with that, my man. The problem is I've been to cfcf, and that story's been told for the last 25 fucking years by like 200 different people. Now, I don't know if any of your stories are real. And now, if you were locked up, I'm sure that you have some stories. And the little headlines that you be showing and saying you know the fucking people, I don't even know if you know the people. And you're talking about liars and keeping it real and shit like that. So I can't verify if any of the other stories are real. But that story you told about cfcf and making the hookup with a bunch of different dudes and them hooking off on him and him spitting, the story is always the same. Everybody does the same movement, and then it ends up with the guy bowling it up off the floor and sitting there and eating the shit. You know that's a fake fucking story. You were probably in cfcf and somebody told you that shit, because I got told the exact same fucking story, bro. So don't fool me. Couple different type, you can't fool me. Couple different type of guys when you're locked up. Some get the pass to use the N-word and things like that, and don't fuck with white people too much, because they want to be cool and try to hustle little drugs or whatever. I worked in the receiver room. I know what that's all about. I don't fuck with nobody, no gangs. I don't give a fuck what you are. In Philly, the Muslims are terrorists, bro. They're terrorists. They're fucking violent, and they're a gang. The Nietas and the Latin Kings, they take care of each other. They also beat the shit out of each other. Like, if you get seen hanging out with a white boy and the guy decides he doesn't like it, they sanction you. I don't know what the fuck this dude's problem is. Like, I was really getting into the stories that he was telling about, Virginia and this and that. Now I doubt if the whole shit's even real. Because the story about making the hookup on the table and the guy spitting in it is a fucking fake story. It may have happened like years back, you know what I mean? And then I've heard stories about stingers, and there's like 100 of those stories that are told by like 150 different people that all say that they've been there and they've never been there. So if you're looking for content, my man, that's cool. But if you're looking to present something that's yours and it's not, that's also cool too. Like, I won't pull your card for that. But then to go and offer like a little bit of advice and call out liars and all this crazy shit. Some of those visiting room stories too, I've heard a couple of those before too. But the one with the fucking chi-chi with the blood and the spit in it and the guy getting hooked off on, bro, come on, man. That's just too much, man. You're too much, bro. Fucking, I don't know how many times I've heard that story. Like, at least probably every time I've gotten taken into the roundhouse or cfcf, somebody's told that story. Because there's nothing better to do in jail except for listen to stories, play spades, play casino, depends on where you at. I have 2 different state numbers. I've been to halfway houses. I've been to prison. If you want some stories, I'll give you some fucking real stories that really fucking happened to me. Jay, I won't take the fact that you are a great storyteller. They're amazing stories. You seem to have the most amazing stories of anyone that I've ever heard. Makes me wonder if you Googled some of that shit and just, put yourself in the mix of like I pulled the trigger. Like, I don't know if you know him or not, bro. You know what I mean? It's just funny as hell now. Because after you told that Chi story where the guy spits in it, your boys beat him the fuck up, blood goes everywhere, and then he scoops it up in the bowl. Everybody tells a story the same way, and at the end they say he just sits there and he scoops it up and he's just sitting there eating it, all knotted up. It's crazy. It's funny because Jay has one of these videos where he actually slips and says the M word. He's like, I'll go from 0 to 100 real fast. So you can tell he was like one of those white boys that had like an M-word pass. You know what I mean? He didn't mess with too many other white dudes. You know what I mean? Which is cool, bro. I mean, you mess with who you mess with, bro. I run neutral. I don't give a fuck about who you're with or none of that shit, bro. I care less. I'm do my time and get the fuck out. And I don't give a flying fuck about the politics of the shit. You know what I mean? When I was at cfcf, I worked in the receiver room, and they used to bring shit in, they would have shit on them, and I would get the jumpsuits together. So if you had something, I would take it and you would bring it through and you would get your shower or whatever, and I would hand you your jumpsuit to the shower and it would come back half. So if you brought in dope, I'd take half your dope. If you had cigarettes, I'd take half your cigarettes. And I'd tell you before, you want to get caught with it or you want it to come back half. It's the way it is. But man, I wasn't, using people and fucking, trying to hook up with guards. I mean, I could have. Philly was the place for that. Like, really, really, really racist guards in Philly. They don't really fuck with white people too much. But I can see why. Like, some of those dudes in there from Kensington are absolute trash, dude. Like, there wasn't too many, like, AB dudes in Philly. In Jersey, upstate in Jersey is where you saw, like, a lot of the gangs. In Philly, the gang is Muslim. They are the gang. And they poke motherfuckers up. And they call it a whack in Philly. Not a shank. A whack. I'm gonna make a whack. One man, one armband. That's right. You don't have an ID in Philly. You have an armband with your picture on it. And it says your number, like mine's 41074. So, fake it to make it. And that's what this is about. I will not take from you that you are a good storyteller. You are. And I will not say that all of the stories aren't yours, because I'm sure some of the stories are if you did time. I will say that you turned me completely off to the whole shit when you went and told that whack-ass, bullshit-ass, lie-ass story about fucking your homeboys, a couple other black dudes that you used to eat with every night, fucking teeing off on, some crazy dude who, he had the whole backstory on the dude, too. Like, yeah, he wasn't really a take it from you kind of guy and all this shit. Bro, I've heard this story so many times. So, like, I gotta call it out at this point, man. It has to be called out. Like, and I'm sitting here, and every day that I get a free second and I'm thinking about YouTube, I'm thinking about this motherfucker really got, like, all these followers off of this shit he's probably making up, because I know I've heard that story at least 50 to 100 times from different people. And then he eats the food afterwards at the end of every time that story's told in a prison, on state road, county prison. It's for the county, you know what I mean? And dude has his shit down. He even knew about the House of Corrections which is closed, I believe now. But they may have reopened it. But like the cells being short. See, I wasn't there. I was in D.C., but I knew people who had that. I was a cfcf in D.C., and I worked in the receiver room at both. So, I'd love for you to clarify that story for me somehow. And another story that he told, which I kind of believe, but after the fucking fake-ass Chi-Chi story, I don't know what to believe. He backs over the car, then waits only 20 minutes, doesn't call the cops. Dude, bro, you've been in fucking prison for 10 years. You're out. You got a fucking successful business and you don't fucking call the cops after a car accident? That's just suspect from there. And then somehow you link up with this guy and y'all get into a fist fight. How does that even fucking happen if you didn't hang out? Like, your insurance company, like, patch you guys together, and then they bro, Commonwealths don't pick up charges on people, almost ever. Like, Commonwealth, you can get shit off at. Like if I rob you in a Commonwealth, and you don't show up for court 3 times, they throw it out. Because Philly is a Commonwealth, and I'm from Philly. I lived in Philly for a while. I lived in, Jersey and Philly. I'm from both areas. And so, from juvenile detention centers on up, I've been there, and I know this shit. And I know that for a fact, that story with the Chi-Chi is a fucking lie. I know that. Say what you want. Anybody can say what they want, but that's bullshit. Yeah, so I don't really get the car accident story. And the title is, I Might Be Going Back to Jail. After all this, you should be grateful for life and what they won't tell you about prison. They don't give a fuck about what they tell you. You know what I mean? Like, they don't really care, man. Those fucking prisons are there for a reason, and, like, people know what goes on in that fucking place. You know what I mean? It's no secret. It's not like they're trying to keep it on the low from the public. Like, the public wants you to fucking suffer. They want people in jail to suffer. They just assume that you should be suffering. They don't know everybody has TVs and radios and commissary and food and a real job in the prison and gets paid for it and shit like that. That's the shit that they don't know. What they think is you go in there and you're gonna get it up the ass and you're sucking whatever, and you're gonna be somebody's bitch, and you should be scared. Don't ever be fucking scared of prison, man. Just keep your head down, keep to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, and don't fucking bother nobody. And if somebody bothers you, beat the shit out of them. Weigh your options, man. You just be a man. Be smart. Be street smart. I've been through a lot of shit. And man, I just had to call out that cheese story where the guy, everybody who tells that story does the little too, as if they spit, as if they saw the shit. You didn't see the shit. I don't believe you did, unless you're like the original OG that story happened to back in like 1999, and yeah, and that story passed on down from you. No. I called somebody else out in the F for telling that story before. So why wouldn't I call it out now? Why wouldn't I? And I'm not trolling anything, and I'll still continue to watch Jay's channel. He's a good storyteller. I don't fucking know if it's true now, but you take it with a grain of salt. I won't take that from him. But yeah. My man faked it to make it on that one. Fake it to make it. I've been kicked out of programs. I've been kicked out of prisons. Like, it's not really anything to be proud of or a big deal. It doesn't make you hard. It doesn't give you some better insight on the life or make you enjoy getting food out of your refrigerator anymore. Trust me when I tell you, it just doesn't. So, peace. I mean, it is what it is, my man. I don't think that's your story. And I've heard that story many, 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 many times. There's nothing to do but tell stories in prison, and I was there for a long ass time myself, and like literally, dude. I don't know. I don't want to keep calling this dude out, man. I feel kind of bad. He's got like a successful channel. I'm not trying to hurt nobody's shit, man. But just, don't talk about the real ones and the fake ones. And are you entertained? Yeah, I'm entertained, but it's like reality TV ain't real. This is like the story, the stories. Now I'm not even sure. If they're real, you're just faking it to make it with the channel. Nobody gets 100 fucking videos with 3 stories each on them of some shit that happened to, bro. You're either the most seasoned convict that ever did it, or you borrowed some of those fucking stories, which I know you borrowed the one.